Good morning. It is October the 27th, I think. It's Tuesday. My name is Jane with Scraptasticayarns. If you've not been here before, we do a little bit of everything here. I'm pretty opinionated, and I express it many times. So if you can't handle it, you might not want to stick around. However, I never tell you can't stay if you have an opposing view. In fact, I welcome your opposing view. It's good to hear other people's views, right? That's what freedom is. That's kind of what diversity is. Finding out other people's views and things like that. So yeah, I'm all for that. If you like what you see here, like, subscribe, share. That'd be appreciated. And if you don't know, I do knitting, crocheting, loom knitting, a little bit of everything. But those of you know that. But you also know I do what in Tarnation stories. And what are what in Tarnation stories? They're just simply stories I find from around the world that make you go, what? Or just little points of interest. That's all. All right, let's get on to some finished items. Now these are all knit that are finished. And this is the Ross hat. And it was done with the Karen Cake, Fairy Cake is what this is. And this was one that I found over there in my stash. And I think I have plenty to do another hat. So there will be another hat. And then all of these hats, the next hats, were made with these 4 skeins. 2 of them were the Soft Illusions from Yarn Bee, super bulky, in the color Softly 7, and also in the color Rose Terrace, along with 1 found skein of super soft quick that was at the church because nobody wanted it. And then I also had a homespun in Syracuse orange. So that's what these were all made of. All I had left were little bitty strings, you know, like this. So off to the trash they went. This is the Syracuse. And these hats are real simple. I mean, basically you cast on anywhere from 40 to 44. Do whatever brim you like for however long you want, and then you just start knitting in the round. When you get closer up to the top, you do 1 round of knit 2 together, then knit the next row, then knit 2 together, I think, again. And then for the very last row, you've only got a few stitches. So you're basically taking the stitch to the left, passing it over the right stitch. You just continue all the way around till you have 1 stitch. And then you cut your tail and weave it through, and you're ready to go. Here is that Softly 7, and that was done with the Karen Simply Soft and the Softly 7. And here's another one with the Softly 7 and the Karen Simply Quick. And then here is what I had left with the Syracuse Orange. I used the Karen Simply Quick and that Syracuse colorway. And this was the tail end of, I don't know what this one was, this color. I do believe that it was it's not a hometown. It's one of Lion Brands, I think. You know, the one that had the Denali and all those colors. That and the tail end of what I had with the pink, that pink. And then here's this one. Use that one that I had from whatever it was. It's not landscapes. It's going to drive me nuts now. And then there is the most of that, but that's pink, soft pink. So those are finished items. Items that I've started. Of course, I started a hat in carrot. This is going to be another Ross hat. And this hat was the one I used to show how I join in the round. And then, of course, there is the homespun. I have a few more skeins of this black, and I will be doing those, and that will be the WIPS that I have. I find it rather amusing that the thing that is trending this morning is people wanting to change their votes, those that have already pre-voted, which some states you can, some you can't. So it's going to be an interesting season, you know, this year. But what are you going to do? And you know the Southern Skeins. Where is that pattern? It's not in this group, it's over here. The Southern Skeins, I believe I printed off the pattern. Well, maybe I didn't yet. It's a beautiful pattern. It's a two-color pattern, the Roseland, or the Rosalind. Here it is. This is the Rosalind cowl. This is the pattern that came with the Southern Skeins. And it is stunning. It is beautiful. Now, I won't work up that yarn in that pattern. I'll work up something else in that yarn. Most likely it'll be a shawl. Maybe a couple of scarves. I don't know. Probably a shawl that I can wear as a scarf, because that's what I like to do with those. Some I keep for myself. Some I look at it and I go, no, I don't really like that. Let me move on. My knit crate, second knit crate, showed up yesterday. You know, and I sit here and I think, those of us that actually purchase 2 sock yarns for the month, I don't know why their system can't figure that out and put them both in the same bag. But whatever. It's that crazy thing. They still do, you know, left and right. I don't think their system works very well for them, but that's okay. So, that is it for WIPS and things. I do plan on doing a couple more hats, crocheted as well. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of it is I just want small projects where I can feel like I accomplished something, because so much of what I'm doing these days seems to be a lot of busy work, you know. I am writing another grant proposal and writing I call it a begging letter for some funds. So, you know, doing that, doing the sewing, you know, delivering prostheses here and there. I just feel like I'm doing a lot of doing and not enough crafting. But that's okay. It'll slow down. It does, it always does. The end of fall, winter, it slows down, and then I'm able to do a lot of crochet and knitting, those kind of things, sewing. I've got bags cut. Have I had an opportunity to sew? Not really. I had a couple of people that specifically wanted certain masks, so I made those masks and sent those off or delivered them. A lot of delivering. What I find interesting is a lot of people want black masks, and every time I go up to Joann's, there's not enough to purchase, to make a whole bunch of masks. If I do the rather square mask, I can get a lot more out of that than if I do the other one with the boning in it, the Olsen type. But a lot of people like the Olsen type. And with my husband, I have enlarged the Olsen pattern so it fits his face well, and he likes it because it fits around here and snug and comes down. And he has a slight beard, so I'm trying to talk him into being a model. Just one photo, honey. But he's like, ugh. I don't know, he's camera shy, sorta. Okay, now we are ready for some What in Tarnation. And there are a couple of good ones in here. Of course, I find a lot of them really good, Lights in Hawaii sky believed to be from 12-year-old rocket booster. Experts said bright lights spotted in the sky over Hawaii were likely the remnants of a booster from a rocket launched 12 years ago. John O'Meara, chief scientist of the W.M. Keck Observatory in Waimea, I think that's how you pronounce it, said the lights spotted in the sky Saturday night likely were from the booster of a Chinese rocket launched in 2008. Mary Beth Late-Jack, Strategic Communications Director for the Canada-France-Hawaii Telescope, said the appearance of the lights lines up with projections of the booster's re-entry path. We can't be 100% sure because we don't have any of the pieces of the debris, Late-Jack told Kahon TV, KHON. But the pattern of the lights that we saw in our time lapse combined with this map. This flight path and the precision at which all of these companies are able to estimate where their objects will enter and how they'll break up is what really leads us to believe that this was the Venusat 1 re-entering the atmosphere, she said. And there's video. And if I hadn't heard that story, I would have thought the aliens are coming. It's very interesting the way it shows up. Man finds 222-year-old penny outside Maine church. And there are photos of it. A North Carolina man using his metal detector near a Maine church unearthed a copper penny dating from the year 1798. Shane Houston said he and a friend from New Hampshire were on a metal detecting trip when they got permission to search the grounds outside a church in Maine. Houston said his most interesting discovery was a 222-year-old copper penny from the first decade of money minted by the U.S. The coin, which is about the size of a modern $50, bears the image of Lady Liberty on one side and 1 cent on the tail side. Similar coins have sold for about $200 on eBay, but he is currently planning to keep it for his collection. The treasure hunter said he is not revealing the exact location of the church because he wants to return to search the same area next year. You know, some people are pretty selfish. This one is absolutely adorable, especially when you get to see the kid, shooting off the stuff. Pennsylvania family builds Candypult for safe trick-or-treating. A Pennsylvania family unveiled their secret weapon to keep trick-or-treating safe amid the COVID-19 pandemic, a treat-launching Candypult. Vince Mack of York County said his family held a brainstorming session to find a way to distribute candy on Halloween while maintaining social distancing and other safety measures. We thought we could try to come up with a creative way to throw candy at kids safely. Mack told WPMT TV, with everything going on, everyone just needs to feel happy and find something to laugh at. And isn't that true? The family came up with the Candypult, a catapult designed to launch candy to trick-or-treaters. I guess we'll have to get extra candy this year, Mack said. And there's video. It is an extremely brilliant idea. And they installed lights so that as it gets darker, the kids can see it. Walmart store evacuated when skunk wanders inside. A Walmart store in Oklahoma was evacuated and temporarily closed after a skunk wandered in the men's shoe department. Officials at the store in Edmond had the business evacuated and temporarily closed Thursday morning while waiting for a wildlife wrangler to arrive and capture the animal. Trevor Bounds with the Redbeards Wildlife Solutions arrived on the scene to remedy the potentially smelly situation. Nobody wants to come shop at Skunk Spray Central, Bounds told KFOR TV. It's more fairly common than you think. I tell everybody, you gotta look at the foundations. Any kind of entry they can find to gain entry, they're going to. Bounds said he humanely trapped the skunk, and it was to be examined by veterinarians at Wild Care, Oklahoma, before being returned to the wild. The Walmart store was reopened. And there's video of him talking about it. And you sure don't want those little skunks to stamp their feet, or it gets stinky real quick. So it's interesting because he tells you how he wrangled it. Engagement ring lost 15 years ago, found during bathroom remodeling. A Kentucky woman who lost her engagement ring 15 years ago had a pleasant surprise when the long-lost ring was found by construction workers remodeling her bathroom. Lisa Phelps of Boyd County said she and her husband scoured the house for a ring when it first vanished 15 years ago. We looked everywhere. We ran wire coat hangers along the sides of the vanity, checked the trap in the sink, and just finally accepted that it was gone, Phelps told WSAZ-TV. I thought it was gone. My husband even had it replaced about a year after I lost it. But the original is always the best. Scott Baker with Tri-State Construction was working on remodeling the bathroom at Boyd's home when he found the ring wedged between the vanity and the wall. I don't know the story behind it yet, Baker said, but I just asked her if she was missing a ring, and I could tell she was excited about it. Phelps said the ring's return was a welcome surprise. I was really deeply impacted by the loss of the ring. To my husband, it's a piece of jewelry, but to me, I lost a part of us, a part of our relationship, she said. A North Dakota woman's class ring was returned to her 45 years after being lost when a man found it while remodeling his basement. Betty Thompson said she lost her ring in 1975. Second story. Several years later, Mike Hansen found the ring while remodeling his basement in Mandan. How the ring ended up in Hansen's basement remains a mystery. Those are fun mysteries to try to figure out. This next story, I'm going to tell you, they're brilliant. Seattle Arcade unveils touchless pinball machines. A Seattle arcade closed for 8 months due to COVID-19 pandemic invented a new way to bring back customers still concerned about spreading the virus. Touchless pinball machines. Add-A-Ball Amusements in the Fremont neighborhood closed its stores in early March to slow the spread of the coronavirus outbreak, and co-owner Brad Johnson said employees started discussing possibilities to resume gaming before the business reopened its doors this week. Our genius employee, Alex, aka Sleepy, came up with the idea of putting pedals on a pinball machine using all foot-operated controls, Johnson told King TV. He said employees worked on the idea for 2 days before revealing a prototype pinball machine modification operated completely by foot pedals. The business reopened this week at 50% capacity in accordance with COVID-19 guidelines, and the touchless pinball machines were revealed to the public. Johnson said most of the retro arcade machines have been removed from the business temporarily to make room for socially distanced seating. He said Add-A-Ball is now offering drinks and meals in the form of fine wines, paired with gas station foods. The business is also encouraging customers with Nintendo Switches to bring their portable consoles so they can still play video games with friends. And you really need to see the video because it's absolutely adorable. That is it for What in Tarnation. That is it for this Scraptastic episode. I do have some more shout outs. I will be filming that tomorrow and putting that up tomorrow. And there's quite a list. I'm surprised at how many there are. But I've done a little bit of searching and found quite a few. So everybody have a great day. Remember to be kind to one another. And let's love one another, regardless of our political views, our differences. Just love one another.